You ever buy something, you feel that amazing thrill, and then, a few months later, there it is, just sitting there, unused. And you get that little pang of guilt every time you see it? Yeah, we've all been there. It's this weird conflict, right? Between the joy of getting something new and the quiet weight of the clutter it becomes. Well, today, we're going to look at that exact feeling, but through a completely different lens.
So let's just ask the question right up front. That urge we all get to buy stuff, is it a creative, good thing, or is it just plain wasteful? According to the source material we're digging into today, the answer is probably not what you're thinking. It suggests this urge is actually part of a much bigger, invisible system. Okay, let's dive in. So the first thing we got to do is redefine the word energy. We're not talking about electricity here. In this view, energy is everything that needs to circulate in our lives. I'm talking money for sure, but also the physical objects we own, the opportunities that come our way, even our own well-being. Just imagine it all as one single, massive, interconnected flow. And this right here is a core idea. Spending money isn't automatically wasteful. Not at all. It's seen as the essential act of moving that energy from you to somebody else. When you buy something, you're not just getting a thing. You are participating in circulation. You're helping the current move along, which is exactly what the whole system wants you to do. But like any system, this flow of energy has rules. And our source lays out two really fundamental laws that determine whether this circulation brings you good things or a lot of problems. So let's break them down. The first law is super simple, at least on the surface. Energy must move. The source suggests that people who are meant to spend, who are active participants in this flow, they just find that more energy, more money naturally comes back to them. Think about it like a river, right? For fresh water to flow in, water has to be allowed to flow out. Spending isn't just an expense. It's what actually makes room for you to receive.
Okay, but what happens when that flow stops? Well, that brings us to the second law, and it comes with a very specific and kind of scary number, 70%. What on earth is so important about this particular threshold? This is what we can call the 70% rule. The source argues that you can safely save up to 70% of your available energy or resources. But the moment you cross that line, the moment you start hoarding more than 70% without letting it circulate, you create a dangerous blockage. Your resources stop being a healthy reserve and instead become a giant, flashing target. And this is where the warning gets really, really stark. The source puts it bluntly. If you hoard past that 70% mark, the system will correct itself, and usually not in a nice way. Something will happen to take it all away. A terrible investment, a scammer, some other kind of sudden catastrophic loss. The universe, in this viewpoint, absolutely hates a dam, and it will eventually break it down just to get the energy moving again. Okay, I know this whole idea of hoarding energy might seem a bit abstract, but it gets very, very real when we look at the physical stuff all around us. The clothes we never wear, the gadgets we don't use anymore, the books we mean to read but never do. These are what the source calls sleeping items. You see, an unused object isn't just taking up space in your closet. It's a little container of trapped energy. Just think about it for a second. The creative energy of the people who designed it, the physical energy of those who built it and shipped it, plus your own energy, your money, that you used to get it. All of that potential is just sitting there, completely stuck. And this stagnation, it actually gets worse over time. When you first buy something, you bring its energy into your life, that's great. But the source suggests that after about 6 months of it just sitting there unused, its energy becomes stagnant. And after a full year, that trapped energy starts to actively block your life's flow. It becomes a source of negative friction in your world. And here is the wildest, most crucial idea from the source. An object has a purpose. It was made to be used. And by keeping it sleeping in a drawer, you're essentially holding its purpose hostage. The claim is that the object's trapped energy will, in a way, fight back. It will create disruptions and problems in your life to force a change, just so it can finally get moving and fulfill its destiny. So if all these sleeping items are blocking our path, what's the solution? Well, it's not about feeling guilty or never buying anything again. It's about understanding the final and maybe most powerful act of circulation, giving. This metaphor from the source just says it all, doesn't it? Stagnant water breeds mosquitoes and disease. A dammed-up river can't support the ecosystem downstream. Our personal energy, and the energy tied up in our possessions, works the exact same way. It has to flow to be healthy and to be life-giving. So how do we get the flow started again?
It's actually a pretty simple 4-step cycle. First, you find and awaken one of those sleeping items. Second, you send it on its way. You give it to someone who will actually use it and love it. Now, this act of giving creates a vacuum, right? An empty space in your life. And, well, nature can't stand a vacuum. That space is now ready and waiting to receive new, fresh energy. And this is the beautiful, perfect symmetry of this whole system. Giving isn't an act of loss. It's a direct, totally necessary first step to receiving. By letting go of something you don't need, you are literally clearing a path for something you do need to find its way to you.
Now, this whole system isn't just about our individual actions, it's about a much larger ecosystem where every single person plays a part. So the final piece of the puzzle is, what's your specific role in this great big circulation of energy?
According to the source, people usually fall into one of two main roles. You've got initiators. These are the folks who just love buying new things. They're the ones responsible for bringing fresh, new energy into the whole system. And then you have circulators. These are the people who love finding gems at thrift stores, who prefer to use secondhand items, keeping energy that's already in the system moving around. And here's the key. Neither role is better. Both are absolutely essential.
Let's use a car as a perfect example of how this works. An initiator goes out and buys a brand new car, injecting that new energy into the world. After a few years, they sell it to a circulator, who keeps that car's energy moving by giving it a whole new life. And that act of selling frees up the initiator to go buy another new car, starting the whole cycle over again. It's a perfect symbiotic relationship where everybody wins.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with just one final thought. Take a look at the things in your home, in your life. Think about the flow of your money, of opportunities. Are you hoarding that energy, creating a blockage, acting like a dam? Or are you letting things flow through you, contributing to the current, and living your life like a river? Ultimately, the choice is yours.